Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 9th of December 2021, and the time now is 6:17 a.m. Well, today our topic is talk about the benefits of learning politics. Right, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so here we go. Yeah, so today we talk about politics and basically the politics here means by the ideas and activities relating to gaining and using power in a country or city. And then I think the benefits here, firstly, could be like um, politics, I think, is related to economics. And basically, it is the macro aspect of economies here. And it is something like the policies of the government. And then maybe the policies also will affect the stability of a country. Yeah, so this is the first benefit I can think of. And then yeah, for this part, maybe when I don't know, but maybe for some people when they are making some investment decision, maybe this is something to refer and consider. And second, the second benefit is I think maybe learning or knowing more about politics can give us a better understanding about the future of a country. And yeah, for this one also can help when we are making some decisions which is related by this. For example, you want to maybe buy a property, and then maybe you would consider this, or maybe you want to yeah, for people who want to maybe move away and then live in another country, maybe they also would consider about uh, politics, yeah, which is like how well the government is doing, and then how's the government policies, something like that. Yeah, and the third one is yeah, for this one, I think it is more about the benefits for a country as a whole instead of individual, which is uh, by knowing more about politics, maybe we can make we can cast a better vote when when there is an election. Yeah, and then yeah, I think actually I can only think of three benefits for learning politics, and maybe some other benefits like you can have you can make this as a topic when maybe chatting with your friends. But I think that isn't a a, a very meaningful benefit. Yeah, so these are my thinking for this topic.
Yeah, I can't think any benefit of learning politics. Hmm.
Oh, so just now I say the maybe investment. Would it be something to be considered?
Mm, okay, the first one is you learning the politics, then you know about the okay, your first point is politics is linked to economic, right?
Yeah.
And about like the government spending or government policy or even the central bank, the monetary policy can be
Mm,
related to
yeah.
the politics and related to the economic.
Mm,
And and also talk about the macroeconomic. Yeah, right. Macroeconomics is important, but uh, the government and I mean Uh, okay, the macro in the government and central bank eyes is different from your it's different from your viewpoint about the macro. They are looking at different things. You are looking another thing. Yeah. So when you're looking at macro, you're trying to understand how to benefit yourself. And when the government and central bank, when they look at the macro,
Yeah.
okay, maybe they want to increase their power. Maybe they want to maybe they want to like increase the taxation. Maybe they want the stability. Maybe they want uh, maybe they want the inflationary environment. Yeah. So they have a lot of concerns. For example, like inflation, employment, and like interest rate. Yeah, it could be many things. Yeah. It also could be their debt level. And you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to concern all of that. You just need to understand how their benefits, how their policy can affect you, can affect can affect your investment. Yeah, and right, politics is related to economics, but if you want to make a decision, if you want to look at the macro and understand how to doing things, how to do things, you don't
Yeah.
need to know any of the politics. Of course, if you have a good knowledge of the economics, then you more or less you will know uh, a little about the politics. But based on your definition of the politics, uh, it's a knowledge of gaining a power uh, to over control the country. Yeah. So this is not related to that. I will say based on your definition. And yeah, the real economics is actually the microeconomics because you are the individual, you are not the government. Your standing point is different.
Yeah. That could be like, do you mean it is like out of our control? We for macro things.
Yeah, it's something that you couldn't control, but it is not something that you couldn't manage. Something that you couldn't control doesn't mean that you couldn't manage. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you also
And
think that by knowing economics, that is already enough for us uh, to make our decisions, like maybe investment.
not only
Uh,
investment, all of your decisions.
mm,
Mm. Yeah,
yeah.
more than enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, uh, the, what I want to say. Okay, yeah, about the patterns. And if you look at about the pattern of the governments, you can find the patterns and you can find their history, you can find their track of records. You don't necessarily need to understand their politics because they have a they have a set of rules of doing things. Yeah. They are being forced to doing the thing in a certain way. Yeah. Because they are in the different positions. For example, now, yeah, if you look at the debt level around all the countries, can they really increase the interest rate? They couldn't get they couldn't effective I mean they couldn't increase the interest rate uh like a few percentage point. They can just increase like maybe a few basic point. Yeah, but there's a maximum. And if they try to increase the interest rate back to maybe like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe let's say let the interest rate go back to like 3% or 4%, yeah, everyone will suffer. The borrower will suffer, the bank will suffer, and the economics will slow down or maybe go into a recession. And this is something that the government, the central bank, don't want it to happen. Yeah, because they did so much in order to prevent, in order to like reduce the impact, reduce the consequences of the economic slowdown and or economic recession. But now they increase the interest rate, and then the economy suddenly just go wrong. Yeah. And the central bank, I mean the Fed, did try to increase the interest rate in 2018, but it failed. I think it's 2017 or 2018, but it failed. When it increased the interest rate and everyone respond to that, and then he has no choice, need to reduce it again. Yeah, so you can know there's a pattern, and they have a set of rules of doing things. And the big corporations and the wealthy guys, they have the influence over the politics. Yeah, they can influence the policy, the government policy, the central bank policy. And you are just a small fish. And how can you benefit from this? It's not by learning the politics. It's learning the economic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't need to know about the politics, and you don't need to know all of this politics. You don't need to know what is the advantage of each like the politicians, what they're going to do, all this. You don't need to understand all of this. You don't need to study often. Yeah, there's a pattern. No matter who goes on the stage, they will do the same thing. I mean the directions and the big environments doesn't allow them to do a totally different way of a way of doing things.
Yeah, you mean big changes is very hard, right?
Yeah, because they care about economics. So the first thing and the most important thing, they want the economic growth. They don't want the economic stop. They don't want the economic goes wrong, go into recessions. If they didn't manage well to let the economic grow, and they won't get elections. I mean, they won't get election next time. Yeah. And how about what is your second point of the benefit of learning history? Learning a politics.
Yeah, the first is economics. The second is about the understanding about the future of a country.
Yeah, understand. If you want to understand the future of the country, learn the economics, learn the history. Not learn the politics. Politics won't help you. Yeah. Because
like we said, we have the pattern, right?
Yeah, and also because each politicians, they will do something to benefit for themselves. Yeah. And what is the third point?
Yeah, third point is about to cast a better vote, which is the interest for a country as a whole.
What do you mean cast a vote? Cast a better vote?
Which is like when you when there is an election, you have to cast your vote, right? You want to choose which parties.
Oh yeah. For me, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I also have some thought about that. Because if you look at our country, Malaysia,
Mm.
And okay, in my opinion, okay, what is our next elections? Is it
Uh,
next year?
I think it is due already, but because of the pandemic, so they keep
Oh, mm,
postponing something like that.
yeah, yeah. So it's coming, and yeah, and if the elections, uh, I mean, if the Malaysia held the elections and uh, one people go to vote like
Mm.
usual, and I won't go back. I won't go back and do the voting because
Mm.
I know that yeah, the cost and benefit is imbalance.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though I can vote, uh, even though I can vote, some of the politicians I prefer more. Yeah, uh, yeah, it's prefer more. Yeah, it's not I like the politician. It's just I prefer more. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a
Just the
comparison.
better
So
out of the
yeah,
bad one.
yeah. So for example, uh, yeah, let's say you go to exams and
Mm.
the 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 maximum point, the maximum mark you can get is 100,
Yeah.
but your friends get 0 and you get 0.5. Yeah,
Mm.
so you are better than your friends. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that both you are good. Okay. Yeah,
Mm.
this is just uh relative comparison.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah. So even though like this, I think the benefit the benefit of my voting is actually lesser, much lesser than my cost. Even
Mm.
though I just need to go back to my country and yeah, uh, maybe few hundred dollars nowadays because we
Mm.
need to do the testing and also we need to like maybe take a leave, maybe like take an annual leave or take an unpaid
Yeah.
leave, and we need to travel, spend your energy, spend your efforts on that, and you need to queuing, you need to uh, you need to bear the risk of getting the virus.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah, all of these things, I think, yeah, the benefit is much lesser than my cost.
Mm.
I definitely won't do it. And even though
Yeah.
in futures, let's say when there's no pandemic, when all the viruses uh, already like um mm, immune, yeah, already immune by the human,
Mm.
we all won't get any coronavirus. And at that time, if I'm still at Singapore, I also won't decide go back to do the voting.
Mm.
And also even maybe few years later after I go back Malaysia, uh yeah, this is still a doubt. Yeah,
Mm.
whether whether I want to go to vote or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all for what I want to say for this topic.
Yeah. I wish you give some opinions
About what?
about everything I say.
Oh, um, yeah. Firstly, I agree with what you say. Like, politics, even though it is related to economics, um, but it seems like uh, when it comes to individual, what actually we deal with is the economics, not the politics. And yeah, this is uh, the first point, and also for the second point, which is like the future of a country, is also uh, uh, it's also more than enough to learn economics rather than politics. And then the last one, which is like to cast a better vote. Yeah, I think for this one, yeah, I think in Malaysia, many people are already feel disappointed uh, with our governments and then with actually both the parties. And yeah, we feel quite hopeless. Yeah, it's like um, it doesn't matter to choose which parties because they couldn't make big changes. And then also you can see many uh, many people in the parties, they sometimes uh, maybe quit and then join the other parties, or maybe some parties they would join with their previous opponent. And then yeah, so you can see they actually uh, uh, quite the same. Yeah, I mean the group of people. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they
mm,
spend too much time on the politics and not thinking about how to improve the future of the country.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
they face the problem in developing the countries. Their efforts is on uh, make their position stable. Yeah, they want to get the next. They want to win the next election. They are doing those
Mm.
kind of things. Maybe repairing the route when it is still new, giving voucher or money to people, so doing something like that instead of building the important infrastructure or what.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
and
So
the best objections I could think to uh to my to my point of view regarding the third point
mm,
is actually the competition. Yeah, if the country lose the competitions, I mean the I mean uh I mean the people lose the hope to choose a better politicians. Yeah, it also can affect the future of the country. Yeah, if there is no competitions for them,
yep.
for the politicians, it also will have some problem. Yeah, this is the best objection I could think of.
Mm. Yeah, you means that they still have the incentive to make the country better, to so that they can win the next election, something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, if everyone don't vote, and yeah, and
Mm,
then the most influential politician sure can get some vote over their opponents,
mm,
and they will
yeah.
keep winning, keep winning, keep winning,
Mm,
and also they don't have any incentive to change the rules, change the way of doing things to make the
mm,
country better.
yeah.
Mm.
Yep. But if we talk about this point, then I think maybe it is still uh, uh, not much of a benefit of learning politics because we can just choose the opposite parties,
Yeah,
right? You don't have
yeah,
to
yeah.
learn about politics.
Let them have a competition.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, and also, uh, yeah, and when talk about this thing, yeah, you may say, yeah, people feel hopeless and they can't really change their country, but does you really need to change your country in order to become better off? Yeah, right. You are right. A lot of things is under control of the government, under control of the country. For example, tax. For
Mm,
example, your property rights. Yeah, maybe you think you own your property, but no, you are not own your property. You still need to pay the tax on your property. You need to pay to the government.
mm,
And when the government go bankrupt, and when the country go bankrupt, do you think your land still have the value? Maybe still have the value. Maybe the value increase compared to your domestic currency.
mm,
Okay. because if all the people lose the hope on the particular fiat currency, they will just convert the fiat currency to another fiat currency or to another digital currency, maybe crypto, maybe some other asset, gold, commodities, and other country stock. Yeah, and they'll try to convert their assets to another asset which is not denominated on their domestic currency, because everything related to their domestic currency would drop, the value would drop compared to the international market. Yeah, for example, if you look at the Zimbabwe, if you look at Venezuela, the stock markets perform very, 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 very well. Yeah, few 100%. Yeah, could be achieved in a year. Yeah, but if you look at their currency value, okay, let's say the stock market performs like, let's say 100% per year, 100% return per year, but the currency value dropped 90% per year. How much you get?
10.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Actually not 10. Actually not 10. You try to imagine. Yeah, because this is not the okay. Based on the mathematics, there's some rules, and about the percentage, and also if they are not the same thing, if something is a kind of like the subset of another thing, you couldn't just minus or add the number. Yeah, especially for the percentage, you need to use multiply. Yeah, this is the basic rules. And try to imagine now you invest $100. You convert your money to let's say $100 Venezuela dollar over the dollar, and then hundreds. Okay, now you invest in the stock market and you earn 100%. So your 100 become 200, right?
Yeah.
100%. And now you decided to bring your these 200, the capital, your initial capital plus the gains, and assume the government, the country don't have any capital gains tax, you can take out all the 200 Venezuela dollar, and then at that time you want to convert back to your domestic currency or convert back to other international other currency, let's say USD or Sing dollar, Malaysian ringgit. And if the currency drop 90%, so these 200 only left 10% value, and then
it's around 20.
Yeah, it's around 20. Yeah, and if let's say the currency drop 50%, and you only left 100, then that means you didn't gain anything from your investment. Yeah, you need to do so much thing. You need to find a good investment vehicle in order to get 100%. Yeah, not every company stock will have 100% returns. Yeah. Yeah, but after you choose the best vehicle, or you invest in the market, yeah, and if the currency drop value, and when the time you want to convert back, you found that, oh, actually I actually are losing money. And drop 50% is actually quite normal, you know, for those countries, Zimbabwe and also Venezuela. Yeah, inflation rate per month, money inflation rate is like 10+%. If you didn't compound, if you didn't compound the interest rate, yeah, a year you can compound it the currency in January dropped 10%, February dropped 10%, March dropped 10%, yeah, April dropped 10%. It's like that. Keep dropping, keep dropping, keep dropping. Yeah, it is more than 50% actually. For those hyperinflated currencies. Yeah. And yeah, could Malaysia become the next Venezuela or the next Zimbabwe? We don't know. I also don't know. But what can you do? It is not something you can fix. It is not something you can solve by choosing a better vote, by choosing a better politicians.
Yeah.
Nothing will change. Yeah. So what will you what would you do? What you can do is relate to economics. It relate to your personal, individual economics behavior. It's not on the politics. It's still under the. It's still under the. Under the. Under the knowledge or under the framework. I couldn't find the proper terms, but it is still under the economics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so that's all for our today conversations. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think about conversation. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocabulary mistake that we made, please also comment to let us know. Because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.